1 million transactions per second. This is a meaningful number for the Cardano community. In this video, we've got some fantastic news to discuss all around the 𝗲𝗓 scaling solution that can deliver 1 million transactions per second. We're going to be talking about what's going on there with the 𝗲𝗓 and what this might mean for Cardano's native token ADA in terms of price appreciation. As I get into this video, if you find it useful and informative, smash that like button. I really do appreciate that. If you are new to the channel, then why not go ahead and subscribe, tap the bell, select all the notifications, and in doing so, you will be kept up to date with everything that we do here at Cheeky Crypto. If you haven't yet joined us in Discord, guys, you're missing a trick. Check it out, linked in the description down below. It's a fantastic community talking crypto 24/7. It's the first place that we go to notify you of everything that's going on in the crypto space. So why not go and do yourself a favor, join us down in Discord, keep a finger on the pulse of crypto and all that wonderful stuff. Let's jump down into the desktop and let's just start talking around what's going on here when it comes to 1 million transactions per second. So what is it that we're talking about, guys? Well, we're talking about 𝗲𝗓's scaling solution to scale up to 1 million transactions per second. Now, this is a nice little number that a lot of people in the community will already know about, but it goes a little bit deeper than just 1 million transactions per second. So let's just get into this, right? So the Cardano blockchain has announced the release of the first functional mainnet version of 𝗲𝗓, a scaling solution for the Layer 1 blockchain ecosystem. Ultimately, the release of the first operational 𝗲𝗓 version would be a key milestone for the Cardano because it would herald the advent of a significant scaling solution for the platform. So there are many different insights, but basically a Cardano 𝗲𝗓 protocol developer did reveal in a video that the goal of the launch is to allow Cardano to handle many more transactions per second, thus increasing the platform's total capacity and accommodating many more dApps. Ultimately, this is one of the main issues that we've seen recently with the Cardano blockchain is to simple the throughput and obviously being able to add as many transactions as you possibly can into a single block and all that kind of stuff. So 𝗲𝗓 is a family of layer 2 protocols designed to make Cardano more scalable and adaptable for various use cases that require fast, cheap transactions. The first 𝗲𝗓 head recently opened on the mainnet. Okay, and there's a lot of fantastic things that are going on with that. So this developer also explained that 𝗲𝗓 is the first of its building blocks that enables applications to offload some of their transactions from the global Cardano network into more local context, thus resulting in cheaper transactions. According to this developer, the first functional mainnet version 0.10.0 is still a work in progress. However, he hinted that more upgrades such as 0.11.0 to 0.12.0, etc. will follow to meet the needs of users. Additionally, he emphasized that 𝗲𝗓 is not a network upgrade, thus users cannot anticipate a hard fork. Okay, this is something that dApp users basically build into their dApps, as I understand it. So what are the benefits of the 𝗲𝗓 scaling solution? And well, the introduction of 𝗲𝗓 would show Cardano's dedication to ongoing research and development, as well as its capacity to keep its commitments, right? It's not something that's been, kind of just shunted off or forgotten about. This is something that's been very much spoken about for many years, and it's good to see it kind of coming through. So this would certainly attract more developers and users to the platform, increasing in its acceptance and usage. And there's obviously a lot of FUD around Cardano, mainly driven from, basically just absolute garbage and nothing actual factual. But nonetheless, we can start to see that a lot of the stuff that Cardano have been talking about over the years is starting to actually emerge and starting to give us the kind of the hope that we were right about Cardano from the very early days. Now, 𝗲𝗓 protocol emergence is certainly a significant development for Cardano as a platform, as it would enable it to process up to 1 million transactions per second. Overall, this is a significant improvement over the current transaction processing capacity of other prominent blockchains such as Ethereum. Now, I do want to kind of emphasize here that 1 million transactions per second, although is a fantastic number in itself, it is a number that you need to also understand that is scales too. It doesn't actually mean that you have 1 million transactions per second instantaneously or anything like that. It's actually there if you need it to be there. And it's actually one of the interesting designs when it comes to 𝗲𝗓. So it's important that we kind of reflect on these things because it's not as simple as, oh, you just have 1 million transactions. It's basically going to pop up more heads and more kind of transactions per second as needed, and reduce them when not needed, right? So you don't have network bloat or anything like that. Now, ultimately, I think you can get up to 1,000 transactions per second per node. The more nodes there are in the Cardano ecosystem, the more transactions per second you get on the ecosystem, and all of that kind of wonderful stuff, right? So there's a lot of things that go in the background to this that you have to understand. 1 million transactions per second has a nice ring to it, but it's not technically going to always be at 1 million transactions per second. So currently the Cardano ADA is ranked up there, I think about 7th or something like that. Pretty decent market cap, although market cap is only really driven from price movement. So the question becomes, when we see the issuance of Hydra and starts to see it kind of coming through, what does that mean for price action? And well, as we can kind of see here on the daily chart, we do see some interesting kind of developments with the price action of ADA. Now, ultimately, I'm still expecting this to be corrective at the moment. And although Hydra's solution, as fantastic as it isn't going to necessarily have a direct impact on price right away, straight out of the gate. We're in very early stages of Hydra, and ultimately, I do think we're going to have to see people utilizing the protocol for scaling in order for us to actually start to see price action be reflected, or for it to reflect on price action. And what I mean by this is essentially the idea of Hydra is so that you can make a lot more transactions per second, right? So you can kind of put that throughput through. That means that we are going to need to see more dApps being built that are basically designed for high throughput. So a lot of DeFi related things, more gaming stuff, micropayments, these kind of things. And once you have those dApps built and they're kind of launched on the Cardano ecosystem, it's at that point that you start to see the demand coming in. It's the demand coming in that you're actually going to see the price react to. You're not going to necessarily see price reacting to the news. I mean, you'll have speculative investors thinking it's going to be fantastic, the price might move, and then obviously you'll have the more seasoned people that know to sell the news and buy the rumor, those kind of things. So ultimately, I think this is fantastic, but it's fantastic for future price appreciation. It's not instantaneous price appreciation. So we still look at this as a potential structure that still looks like it's going down, even though we are seeing some fantastic developments on the actual ecosystem. And this is just going to set us up even better for the next bullish market. Okay, so we have a few different charts here we can kind of reflect on. Let me just clear this one out here. Okay, we can see that we do have ourselves a 5-wave structured down here, and I'm still looking at this as a potential 3-wave structured move up here at some point before we collapse down into another 5-wave move. Now, it's possible that we've already started the 5-wave move down. It's hard to say until we actually break that low being down here at 37.61. So if we break that, then yeah, we're kind of done with the highs, and we can just talk about this maybe breaking down from here. Otherwise, we have two key points we can see on this chart, 37.61 and 46.17. And yeah, basically we need to get confirmation. We don't have a good structure either way to say we are definitely bearish or definitely bullish. So on this one, we kind of have to be a little bit patient. Ultimately, we have highs and lows that we're monitoring. We are looking to eventually come down towards 29.76, maybe a fraction lower, more towards 25 and 27, but it would depend on the structure that emerges next. Now, when we take a look at these macro levels, we can see, of course, price appreciation for the future, whether that's 2024 or 2025, I don't know. This is just a rough stab as to kind of where it's likely to go based on, you know, what we've seen so far. Now, ultimately, if we follow this as a 3-wave count and a 3-wave structure, then, well, we should be expecting ourselves to see price going to the 1 to the 1.236. Now, I've seen a lot of hatred towards my recent videos around the $100 level ADA and people saying clickbait and all that kind of stuff. It's not clickbait if I'm talking about this and I'm actually saying this technically is possible, and it is technically possible. And we need to kind of understand that it's unlikely to do this unless we have a really good fundamental reason for the supply to shrink and the demand to increase. And I do think everything that's going on with the Cardano ecosystem is essentially helping towards that. Okay, but $100 is going to be a very difficult target to hit, and not because of the market cap. The market cap is only result of price, right? So the price dictates the market cap. The market cap is not going to dictate the price. So the market cap will be whatever the market cap will be. It's completely irrelevant to the equation. The only things that really matter for price discovery or for price to collapse down is going to be the supply and the demand metrics. So we need to see the supply shrink, or at least the available supply that is going to be out there for purchase shrink, and we need to see an increase in the demand. If we see the supply shrink and the increase in the demand, then price will go up. And if we have that at a really strong fundamental level, as in there's a lot of dApps being built on Cardano. I think there was actually 1,230 in one of the recent videos that we were still talking about, where Charles Hoskinson was saying there's a lot of projects building on the Cardano ecosystem. That is a lot of projects, and which potentially will increase the total value locked on chain, which will potentially then mean we have a shrinkage of the supply, at least the supply that is available for purchase. And of course, all those dApps coming to the ecosystem will have an increase in the demand for ADA, as you will have to have ADA to interact with those dApps. This essentially means that we're going to see a shrinkage of the supply and an increase in the demand, which means we'll have a catalyst for a movement in price to the upside, regardless of whatever the market cap will be. So here we can see that there is a bullish market on a bigger weekly macro level that spans multiple years. And we can see that there is a targeted range between 1 and 1.236 on the fib levels, assuming that we actually have another drop to the downside towards 19.64 cent, which is possible. I'm not saying it's probable, but it's possible. And if this is the case, then we should be targeting out $34 to $116. But I would say let's usher a bit of caution more towards some other key levels on these charts. Although technically possible to push up to $34 to $116, it's not necessarily probable unless we have a significant shrinkage in supply and an increase in demand. So what other key levels should we be focusing on? And well, there's two key levels that caught my eye. The 0.618 fib level. This is a little bit higher than the existing all-time high. This comes in at $4.77. And then there is the 786 fib level. This one resonates incredibly well with people. This is $11.57. So I think ultimately we should be thinking, actually, is it 57 or 67? 57, I think. So we should be thinking about price moving down. It's actually 37, if I could read it right there. So 1137 would be our 0.786 fib level, okay? So we have some pretty key levels here when we start thinking about the price action of what the future might hold when it comes to the price action of ADA, right? So we know that there's a lot of fundamental things going on. We've got a lot of projects building on Cardano's ecosystem, 1,230 according to Charles Hoskinson in one of the recent videos that we covered it on. And then we have things like the Hydra solution providing those microtransaction dApps actually having a platform that they can utilize. There is a lot going on Cardano. And I do think there's going to be some fantastic gains to be had here. But again, it does require those two key things. We have to see the supply shrink, and we have to see the demand increase. And I do think there's a recipe here in the background that is bubbling away, and I do think we're going to see very significant gains in the future for ADA. But that's my personal thoughts. I'm not a financial advisor. I cannot give you financial advice. These are my personal thoughts and opinions on Cardano ADA, and I think they're going to do incredibly well. What are your thoughts? What are your opinions on the price action of ADA? Do you think I'm being too conservative? Do you think $100 is just absolutely insane? Let me know in the comments below. If you found this useful and informative, guys, why not go ahead and smash that like button? I really do appreciate that. If you're new to the channel, then why not go ahead and subscribe, tap the bell, select all the notifications, and in doing so, you will not miss another video update. Guys, till the next one, have a fantastic day.
We are not financial advisors. None of what we have communicated verbally or in writing here should be considered as financial advice. It is not. Do your own research before investing in any digital asset or affiliate offers, and understand that investing in any crypto is risky. If you do, you need to be prepared to risk your entire investment. This video is for information and entertainment purposes only. All our videos are strictly personal opinions. Please make sure you do your own research and never take our opinions for financial guidance. There are multiple strategies, and not all strategies fit all people. Our videos are not financial advice.